composition from the University of Washington, a Doctor of Musical Arts and Composition from the University of Michigan. He was a Charles Ives Award winner in 1984 and has since 1990 annually won the ASCAP Award. His compositions have won the National Bandmasters Award and the American Bandmasters Oswald Award. And in 2003, he was Composer of the Year for the Washington Music Teachers Association. He's currently a professor at Pacific Lutheran University, and he teaches composition, theory, music history, and world music. This last, I believe it was this last spring, we had the opportunity come to us through Dr. Edwin Powell, the Director of Bands at Pacific Lutheran University, to put together a composition project so we could get a new piece of music written by Greg and put the word out to us, strangely enough, first on Facebook, as it's becoming more and more common. And almost immediately, a lot of us were going, yes, I want to be part of this. I was one of those first people going in because I've got a little more first-hand knowledge of Greg than most. We were high school classmates back in the dark ages at Olympia High School. We were just reminiscing backstage there that the last time he had seen me, I was 16 years old. I look exactly the same. Not at all. But I was very excited we had that opportunity because I've been aware of Greg's career as it has gone on, and he's just a wonderful, wonderful musician and composer, and even more exciting to have someone who I consider a friend come back here, and I think we're getting to do maybe the second or third performance of this new piece of music that is out here. So I'd like to invite Dr. Utes to the stage to say a few words about the composition.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. You sound terrific. And I can hear everybody in this very clear acoustic, so I'm very excited to hear this piece here. Mike, it's been 42 years. Uh-oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. I was just down at our old alma mater in Olympia a few days ago. They're working on the Monkey King. And by golly, the band room is still there. Yeah, and you know, they completely remodeled the high school, but the band room is still there. And the new Wayne Timmerman, who was our band director back then, is now a former student of mine, which is a little startling, actually. Well, I'm delighted to be here, and particularly to hear two pieces that represent very much two sides of me, a kind of a yin and yang, I suppose. I'm wearing a Chinese coat, and a lot of people who know me know that I'm very interested in all things Chinese. So the Monkey King is very much out of that. It's all based on tunes from Beijing opera, and I hope you enjoy those. It should sound, as Mike wrote in the program notes, raucous and celebratory. But this piece we'll hear right now is quite the opposite. Perhaps like a lot of you, I have known a lot of people very personally, very closely, who've been involved in our military endeavors abroad over the last 10 or 15 years. A lot of these are students in classes of mine. Sometimes I see them in ROTC uniforms around campus. Sometimes I only find out later that they joined the military after leaving PLU. But I still think of them as kids, right? And they're off in these theaters of war doing very dangerous things. And there was one couple in particular that I knew, and I kept tabs on the wife who was at home. She was a singer, so I knew her very well in the music department at PLU. Her husband has now completed 3 tours, 2 in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan, all of them very much in harm's way. And again, I think of these as kids. And so I also think of her as kind of a daughter figure almost. It makes it very, very personal and close. And so when I was asked by my colleague at PLU, Ed Powell, to write a serious piece for band, he wanted it to be a slow movement, an extended slow movement. And he also said, you know, because we're at a Lutheran university, how about doing something with a Lutheran chorale, like what the band warmed up on? And I said, that's great, those are always terrific. And then he left it up to me. I guess he did suggest the tune, which was O Sacred Head Now Wounded, because J.S. Bach uses it something like 8 or 9 times in the St. Matthew Passion. it's sort of harmonized in different ways at different times throughout that very dramatic passion story. So I thought that sounded even better. And the title, which in English we know best as O Sacred Head Now Wounded, reminded me painfully, again, of these kids who were off doing our business in dangerous parts of the world. So what I did was take that tune and chop it up into its 5 component phrases, and then I did various things to them to make it sometimes a very sort of beautiful, calming kind of thing, and sometimes quite the opposite. The climax of the piece is sort of a hair-raising version of this tune, in which I actually added yet another voice of counterpoint and told the bells to ring like the end of the world. And so you'll hear this same tune. I like to say that I really didn't write a single note in this piece. It's almost all Bach and the person who actually wrote the chorale tune. But I did different things to it. So at times, in order to get different levels of tension or anxiety out of it, I crush the intervals down so it sounds sort of smashed. And other times it opens up and is much more transparent. You'll also hear various things going on in the flutes and xylophone and a few other instruments that I refer to as the ghostly instruments. They're sort of that haunted feeling. Again, this piece is about people who are at home waiting for those who are in danger. So this idea that a preoccupation sometimes turns into a full-blown nightmare and then sort of back again. So that's what the piece is about. It's all based on Bach, but I hope you enjoy For Those Who Wait.